What I thought I saw Saturday night after the game was what I actually did see. I saw a desperate Iowa State team playing against a team coming out of Lincoln that was looking at the end and not the next week and feeling too good about themselves. So you have to give, once again, Iowa State a lot of credit. We had 6 guys that played well enough to win on defense. We had 5 guys that played well enough to win on offense. We had 10 guys that played well enough to win in special teams. So, again, it's a shame, like UCLA, that a lot of the guys played well. They played hard, and they won't get credit for it because the others stood around some and looked like they were waiting for something to happen instead of making something to happen. So my worst fear was that we wouldn't learn from our UCLA debacle and come back and repeat it again this weekend, and that's what we did. It's not about talent level. If you got enough talent on your team to beat Nebraska in Lincoln, you got enough talent on your team to beat Iowa State in Austin. So that, to me, has nothing to do with it. Iowa State created the perfect storm. They ran the ball. They protected the ball. They played field position. They forced turnovers against us and kept us out of the end zone. They scored in the red zone. They were 4 for 4. And we were not. We had some mess-ups in the red zone. So for us to win, we had to play great defense. We have to do that each week because it was the strength of our team coming in this year. And to do that, you have to stop the run, you have to put pressure on the quarterback, and you have to force turnovers. And we did none of the 3. We have to have a dominating kicking game. We did some great things in the kicking game on Saturday, but in each phase there was one part that kept us from grading a winning performance in that area. And then you've got to score in the red zone on offense, and we still are not doing that. You also have to play with passion week in and week out. I thought the kids mostly played hard. They did not play with passion and confidence, and that's something we've prided ourselves on here for a long time. So in my opinion, we've got some entitlement on our team. Like we had in 06 and 07, we got to get it fixed and got to change it. I thought we fixed it in the open date. We had a real difficult practice the week before and after Oklahoma. We saw benefits of that. We reaped the benefits of that out in Lincoln, but obviously it did not carry over. So a year after winning a conference championship and playing for a national championship 8 months ago, our coaches aren't stupid. They do know what they're doing, but they do know that we should not lose to Iowa State and Austin. They do understand that. They know we shouldn't have lost the game to UCLA like we did, and they also know that that's not the standard of coaching that we've worked hard to get over the last 12 years. We obviously didn't play as a team. For instance, we're sitting there with 5 minutes in the third quarter and we kick a field goal. We kick off and they return it 45 yards and score in about 5 plays. So we had a chance to answer. We had a chance to turn the momentum, and we just didn't do it at that time. So the next series, we come back. We're driving the ball. We get the ball down to the 28-yard line going in, and a ball bounces off of receiver's hands. Iowa State intercepts it again, so it cost us points at that point. Early fourth quarter, we've got another chance. Our only turnover for the game was at our 45-yard line going in. So we had great field position. We're still in the ball game at a 21-6 where we can make something happen, and the next play, an offensive lineman gets beat, ball pops out of Garrett's hands, and they intercept it and go in and score to make it 28-21. At that point, I was proud that the kids did keep fighting, because they did not quit. They didn't give up, especially offensively, because they kept working to try to get back in the ball game. But we never took advantage of the situations that we had. Defensively, we didn't make any of our objectives, which is very unusual for us. As we said, the goal was to stop the run, pressure the quarterback, force turnovers, get off the field on third down, stop them in the red zone, and we even had situations come up on a 3rd and 18 where we've got 3 guys standing there and they out-jump us for the ball, which was a killer at that time because that led to points. We had another time after the turnover where we've got a guy double covered and they throw over his head into the end zone to catch the ball. So we just did not make plays. So they were 4 for 4 in the red zone. We still had 8 3-and-outs. We only had 2 sacks and we only forced 1 turnover. When we talked about what we would have done differently as you look back on a game, which I always try to do, Coach Muschamp felt like that we probably did too much. We weren't stopping the run early. We weren't making the plays we needed to make. We started moving and blitzing and trying to get to the quarterback, trying to stop the run with some run blitzes. We didn't play well inside on defense, and they hit some big runs. Defensive line got tired, so we should have played more people in the defensive line. We've got to do that. We've talked about it. But Saturday we did not. Offensively, we only made one of our objectives. There was 9 explosive plays. They did play hard, but again, they didn't play with confidence and passion. I thought sometimes they played uptight and felt like they had to make a play every time to win the game. We lost 4 turnovers, like against UCLA, and you're not going to win when you lose 4 turnovers, and one of them especially a momentum killer right after you gain momentum to lose it back. Had an interception in the end zone, which is a killer for points. We had a motion penalty on 4th and 1 at the 1 where we score and have to come back and lose 4 points because we kick a field goal. And then we missed a field goal from 37 yards. What would we do differently? And talking to Coach Davis, he said he felt like we should have stayed more balanced. We left the running game too soon, got frantic a little bit and started trying to catch up real fast and didn't play well enough in the passing game to do that. So we obviously need to stay more balanced. Still not scoring enough in the red zone, too many turnovers. It seems like on some weeks, last week we didn't have a turnover. So it's just the inconsistency of who shows up to play. Still not making enough third downs, and the red zone's killing us. There's opportunity after opportunity to score, and we're not getting touchdowns. Special teams, we did a lot of great things. I said 10 guys graded winning performances. But again, kickoff coverage was great all but once when we had to have it. They had a 42-yard return out to the 45-yard line. Kickoff return was much better. We returned, DJ had one 38-yard return. But again, they gave up the onside kick, which lost a possession for us. And you just can't possibly do that. You've got to be prepared for it, and they executed it perfectly. Punt team, we averaged 50.2 yards per punt, 45.2 yards net. 2 of them were down inside the 20. John Gold had a 63-yard punt. Justin Tucker had a 70-yard punt, but we also gave up a 32-yard punt out of our end zone that led to points for them. So none of those got their objectives. We averaged 16 yards on punt return. Curtis Brown had 2 returns for a total of 48 yards. One of the returns, we had a block in the back. We misjudged another 74-yard punt that rolled in at the 2. So field position came a real nightmare for the offense. And while we had 2 punts inside the 20, they had 4. Extra point and field goal, we missed a 32-yard field goal. You look at Baylor, you got to give them a lot of credit. They're 6-2. They're bowl eligible. They lead the South. They're ranked 25th in the country. It's the first time they've been ranked since 1993. They're bowl eligible. Haven't been to a bowl since the Alamo Bowl in 1994. Their stats are very impressive. Jay Finley had a school record 250 yards rushing against Kansas State. He had an 82-yard run, which is the second longest in school history. Robert Griffin threw for a career-high 404 yards. It was also only the 5th 400-yard passing game in Baylor history. His 4 touchdowns were his career high. Last 2 weekends, Baylor's gotten 683 yards of total offense, which set a school record, and it broke the school record set last week against Kansas for 678 yards with a 683 against Kansas State. They're averaging 42.7 points per game the last 4 games. They're averaging 602 yards on offense and playing much better defense. You look at Robert Griffin. He's 3rd in the country in total offense, producing 344 yards himself. His passing efficiency is 14th in the country and 1st in the Big 12. They have great receivers. Robert Griffin's been phenomenal. I can't imagine him not being in the Heisman talk as you start looking at what he's accomplished over the last few weeks. You look at them defensively, and the biggest thing on defense, they're playing with a lot more speed. The big tackles have grown up. They're playing very well. Phil Taylor from Penn State, 6'4", 340 pounds, and Nicholas John Batiste is 6'1", 330. And they hold the middle down really well, but they're faster at linebacker. They can really run. They've always been good in the secondary, and for whatever reason, you have to give them credit for it. They've always been good in the kicking game since we've been here. Kendall Wright's a guy that's